Hey everybody, how you doing this fantastic Saturday? You ready to design a
Hey, it's
game?
me. I'm here twice.
Yay! Oh yes, hey look, I can. Uh-oh.
Never have too much
There we go.
rage.
That's what I say.
Now it is just me.
My
Hey, Raven. How's it
checklist,
going?
all my Resident Evil games. Hey Raven, how you doing this fantastic Saturday? Catch some hockey already in the morning, or your did your Canadians play? Did you do okay? No answer's not a good sign.
Aha! I am facing the wrong way.
Ah, there you go.
Let me just horizontally flip that source. There
Or
we go.
XFL and hockey and Twitch. Sounds like an entertaining day at least. Don't you love this new technology? What's up, Sue?
Completely forgot about the XFL. Wanted to watch that.
Aw, that's unfortunate.
I watched it last week. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about it today.
So, welcome to Games by Design panel, and we are back designing the game. As always, I am Deus.
I am Rage.
And I'm Suda.
Let's design a game. Love designing games. My favorite thing. Depends, sitting on my ass isn't the most entertaining. I don't know. Some of the most fun I've ever had in my life is sitting on my ass.
That's what we're all doing right now.
Yeah,
It's true.
And he's correct. I am fully sitting. You know what? Oh, what?
Oh, I think your audio cut out there.
Audio shouldn't
No,
cut
no.
out.
He's got a plan. He's got a plan.
Oh, transforming.
Oh, you finished an RPG? What were you playing?
There we go. Now it's a standing stream.
Now only two of us are sitting on our asses.
Yeah, way to make us look bad.
All right, let's do this. Get out of my face, Mike. I got this awesome mic arm. I can just be like, "Ooh, hey, yeah, I want it here now." Oh wait, no, let's. There we go. Oh, it's a little too cheap for that one.
Meow.
There we go.
It is an inexpensive mic stand.
There we go. I twisted it too long one way. Finished a little RPG. Surprisingly good little RPG for free. Oh, well, what is it? Let's give it a shout out. Free games need shout outs. Free games need players.
We're waiting on you, Raven.
Yep.
Okay,
Legionwood,
good.
Tale of Two Swords. If you're out there, you love RPGs, and you want a free one, you don't got a lot of money, you want to play one, check out Ravenwood, Tale of Two Swords. Hello, Nanu. How you doing, buddy? How's it going?
Yay! My command worked.
Yay!
That was the first time I've tested it.
The new feature on the bot works, and now you have a link to the same document we're working on. I was actually surprised for the level of content for free. Excellent. Content definitely makes those RPGs.
Are you feeling better, Lo? You say it's going good, but are you actually feeling better?
He said he's been feeling human the last few days, which is excellent to hear.
It's pretty important to feel human.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, overrated.
Oh, now my shirt's backwards, though. No, I don't like this flipping horizontally. I'm just going to keep looking the wrong way.
Just staring fixedly away from the design doc.
Yep, that's okay. I'm actually looking away from the design doc when I look over here. This is when I'm looking at the design doc. This is when I'm looking at y'all in chat.
Just gotta have one eye look to the left and another eye looking to the right, and you're good to go.
Just gotta go full on like chameleon on it.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta feel extra chameleon today.
Hurts my eyes when I do that. All right. So Rage wasn't here yesterday, so as a little recap for those Just put chat on the other side. I need another monitor for that. Buy me another monitor arm and another monitor, and let's do that.
I need never have too many monitors.
You know what?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's open with good news. Since we always do good news at the beginning of stream, let's do it for panel as well.
Yeah. My good news for the day, for me, is that I only require one more document to be approved for my mortgage.
Congratulations.
That's very exciting.
It's exciting. I don't have as good news. My good news, I'm just going to repeat from yesterday since I gave 2 yesterday. Our emotes are approved. Yay.
Yay!
Oh shit, I didn't notice that. Yay.
Yay. They're so cute. I love them. Pseudo, you got any good news? Anybody else? What's your good news?
I slept for like 12 hours, which is the longest I've slept in a long time, so that's good.
That's fantastic news. Who doesn't love sleeping? Let's get some more light on me here. I'm going dark. Stood up and I moved away from all my light sources. A little better. That's good. And news. I mean, it hasn't been a crazy week for gaming. I guess Wolcen has come out. We'll be checking it out, I think, after stream.
Yeah, I want to play that. That looks good.
We'll be doing some multiplayer Wolcen, and anybody who wants to join us is more than welcome to jump into Wolcen and check it out with us. We'll be streaming it and having some fun with it. Any news from you guys to give for gaming?
We're a week closer to Doom Eternal.
Yeah, we're a week closer to Doom Eternal. That's great news.
The holiday. Doom
Day.
Day.
Holiday is good.
All right. So, quick recap. We started by setting up our limitations and requirements for the game. Always, always important when you're designing a game to figure out these things at the very, very, very start. It's going to guide so much of your development. And like we said, don't worry about thinking of every single one. Just write the headings down. Give it 2 or 3 minutes thought. Write down what comes to mind. And then as you start to develop and build out your idea, limitations and requirements are going to come to like, oh, I'm going to absolutely need this. Pop back and write it down. You've got them right at the top. All right, we didn't have this built out quite this much at the beginning, but now that we do, we can come in and read it and go, what are our limitations? We have to interact by text. Our dev skills will limit it, but we're not very limited on that side. There's not a lot we can't do with a text-based game with us 3. Very limited graphics capabilities is a fact. However, anything that we can output onto HTML as an image, we can import directly into OBS. So we can totally do battles and shoutouts and flashes and things like that onto the screen directly from the game. Super easy. The bot is more than capable of doing HTML.
What about like WebGL inside the HTML? I'm sure that'd be fine.
Oh, yeah, as long as it's
rendered in Chrome, it'll be fine.
Yeah, as long as it renders in a browser, we can output it onto the screen. Not a problem. The Twitch API is going to be a very big limitation of ours. If we want to do something with Twitch and Twitch's API doesn't let us do it, then we're going to have to go back and redesign that part of the game. There's no way around it. We can't fix Twitch for them. We don't have the access, the money. Yeah, no, not going to happen. And we can't have any rewards of monetary value if we're taking bits. Bits can never be exchanged for anything of monetary value.
I'm also not entirely sold on letting bits interact with the game, but we'll see how that goes.
It's not to interact with the game, it's to put the game onto the screen, which is the original purpose of bits, to allow you to interact with the visual element of the stream.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's the only way I'm looking at using them. Like, you can challenge someone to a duel, but if you want to do it on the screen in front of everyone, you throw a few bits in it and you get to show off and flex your win. Hopefully you win.
Yeah, throw bits on it and then lose.
Yeah. And then the requirements of the game. So it has to be multiplayer. It's for the community. That's key core. Immediately we were like, well, this is for lots of people. We need a multiplayer game. We want the stream to interact with the stream video. everybody wants to see something. We don't want to just get text back, especially flexes and brags and, you know, maybe a few bits that when you get your piece of loot, you throw a few bits on it and it pops up on screen like so-and-so just got this or achieved this or something like that.
Or what have you. Yeah, I was thinking about having the ability to like spend channel points, spend talking points on being able to say, you know, I just hit level 10 or whatever.
I mean, you could do it in a highlighted message.
Yeah.
That's
do it in a highlighted message. If you want to be actually on the video of the stream, maybe you got to throw a couple bits at it.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like, you know, huge values or something, 10 bits, 20 bits here and there, just a couple bit change in order to get your shit to pop up on screen and show off in front of everybody. Flexing!
Yeah, Raven gets it.
Yeah, like that. We want the lurkers to be able to play the game. We don't want you to have to be active in chat. We don't want you to have to be showing off. We want it to be able to be fun and something you can do without anybody even knowing you're doing it, if that's the way you want to play it. I want them to be included. I don't want them excluded. I don't want lurkers, because lurkers are huge. They're a massive part of every community. You guys are super important. I respect my lurkers. I love having you guys around. I want you guys to have fun in the game as well. You couldn't have 1,000 people in a chat without, 950 lurkers.
Well, you could. You just wouldn't be able to, like,
communicate
anything ever.
Yeah. So I love my lurkers, and I love lurkers, period. And they're important, and I lurk all the time, and I want to be able to lurk and have fun. Hello from a lurker. You're not a lurker, Lo. You chat almost more than anybody else.
Almost as much as me.
Yeah. And we absolutely love you. Don't go away, man. Don't go away. We love you. All right. And we want to provide a form of reward to the players or participants. It can't be monetary. It can be bragging rights. Bragging rights are a totally legitimate reward in games. That's what drove PvP in Vanilla WoW. There was no rewards in Vanilla WoW until, it was ages until the first Warlord system came out. And trust me, Torren Mill was a slaughter fest long before those rewards came out. You did not go there to level. I remember my first character getting to that area or my first alt that I really leveled up, because my first character was the first 60 warrior on the server. So I didn't have a lot of worry from PvP. Everyone was running away from me. But then when I tried to level my alt and I got there, and it was just like, oh, a level 20 can't fight 30 level 50s, 60s. Yeah, 30 level 60s. I'm going to go somewhere else.
I think I'm going to go somewhere else level.
Yeah, it's not fun. You're the extroverted lurker. I like that. And it must be open-ended / have no ending. It's a ongoing, constantly upward sort of movement game. The stream has no end. I'm not going anywhere. Sorry. You're stuck with me. So the game has to keep running.
And we can steal a lot of that stuff from like Diablo, Path of Exile, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
Put like seasons and stuff in there as well.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so one of my things in game design for all of you is you don't have to make anything unique. You borrow from all of the other wealth of things you've played and experienced. That's your reservoir. The combination of the objects will be unique. You'll end up with a unique game. People will think it's creative and different and original, and you're like, no, I just took from all my favorites.
Yeah, you want about 10% new stuff in your game.
Yeah, if it's all new, it's just too new. People don't know how to interact with it. They're stuck trying to learn it. They don't know what they're doing. It's all confusing and different, and they lose interest.
Example being Death Stranding.
Yeah, but you actually have to have content.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but 8 hours of delivery quests is not a good way to start a game. Like, when I first started looking into the game, somebody told me, oh yeah, it gets really interesting after the first 10 hours. And I was like, I don't want to play 10 hours before it gets interesting. That doesn't sound fun. And I'm totally glad that other people enjoyed it, and I watched some of it, and I don't think it's the game for me, but sounds like Final Fantasy XIV. Only after you hit level 50.
See, yeah, I tried to play FF14, but getting through ARR was it was a slog.
Yeah, I mean, up to that point, you're like, oh, this story's kind of interesting. And then you get to that point and you skip stories and run point to point for like 10 hours. And I wish I was exaggerating. I really do, but I'm not. And you're not even reading it. And by the end of it, you're like, I have no idea what's happening. I don't care anymore. And you just basically stop listening to the story after that, which is really sad. Because actually, the story after that point gets really good. I mean, it's still fluffed out to the extreme because it's still Square Enix and they like to pad the hell out of their things. They're like, we need to say yes, but we need to take 10 screens to do it. Start writing. That's Square Enix writing. I worry about the 7 remake. ARR is A Realm Reborn.
Which is the re-release of the original Final Fantasy XIV content re-architected to be more fun, except it didn't work.
No, it did. No, it did.
Or
it is
maybe
way
it did. I didn't play
better than the original. Way better. Okay, so you know all those fields of mobs that we were running through and not caring about? Imagine they were actually empty.
I see.
Like even like foliage and like trees and stuff for the most part.
Oh, see, this is what I talk about when I talk about open world-itis.
Yes,
They make
it's
this
exactly
massive world with nothing in it.
Guess
Nothing.
What? We drew a big field. It's 5,000 hectares. Go have fun.
Not even unique geometry, just copy-pasted tiles.
Pretty much. Yep. Yeah, it was really, really, really bad. That's why ARR is, like, when it first released was Final Fantasy XIV 2.0 was the version. Yep.
Brutal.
Yep. We're glad it's better. Still not
It's
an
still
MMO,
not
but
great.
it's the best. It's not an MMO, but it's the best MMO out there. It needs to have a world map that functions as a world map. Before the best thing I've heard, the best way I've heard it said, and Riftkick, if you're in here, I use your quote all the time after you coined it. Riftkick, shout out to you. It is not an MMO, it is a dungeon simulator. That's accurate.
Yeah,
With some
I'd say
friends.
that's pretty accurate. Although I would say my definition of MMO is looser than most, as I don't play a ton of MMOs.
Here you go. Here, I'll throw it on the stream.
So wiggly,
That's the map.
like squiggles.
Oof.
It looks like they were trying to turn Final Fantasy 13 into an MMO. That's what it looks like to me. Like, what if we had lots of hallways and just made them go through each other?
What if we put hallways in our hallways?
All right. So we've been talking about the game for a couple hours so far yesterday. The goals of the game. The next thing we went to. Very important to identify what your goals are going to be. We want character, progress in power. An absolute must. That's core to it. It's going to be an RPG, therefore, most likely, down in the genres. And Raven and Pookie Celeste were both vying for an RPG-style game, which I agree probably works best for a text-based game in a bot.
Yep. I agree. It would be very difficult to do just about any other style of game other than like straight dungeon crawler.
Yeah, and Dungeon Crawler would not be a good multiplayer experience.
No.
So we want PvP battles for glory or experience, PvE battles for items or experience, and potentially glory if we make our PvE interesting and difficult enough. Maybe we come up with some crazy combat system that's actually fun and people want good combat. I'm happy to come up with super creative bosses. I love shit. Create alliances in points. That was the one I was mentioning. Your Rage.
Yep.
Where we could possibly use the Google PageRank algorithm to calculate alliance worths to make. The more alliances you make, the more powerful your alliances are, the more they're worth, the more people want to ally with you, but the more people ally with you to get their power up, the more power they're giving you. It's a constant risk-reward benefit. I like it. I like the idea of that one. Amassing wealth.
I can see it going kind of dumb, but we'll just have to be careful with how we implement it.
Yeah, of course. Anything can. To that note, I will say any idea can go dumb if you implement it.
Yeah, it really has to see in playtesting how it kind of actually pans out.
Yeah,
As you see with like any major studio when they release a new character or release a new functionality, it's like, oh man, this is dumb. How did this make it this far?
Yep. Tap add blue
And
for
that
each artifact you control. How did that one make it in? Made it in for like a week, and then they're like, oh yeah, we shouldn't have done that. And they banned it.
Banned.
So amassing wealth is a thing. Examples. Players must defeat other players. Players must defeat an objective together. These are examples of goals that was there for. Not examples of things we want to use. It was examples to help get people started. Because when we first put goal of the game down, everyone was like, fair enough. We're the ones who actually know what we're doing here. Let's get it started ourselves.
Yeah.
How will the players interface with the game? So text only, typed actions, or multiple choice actions was the choice I brought up with people. And there's probably other ways to do it, but that was just two examples of a text interface. Personally, I'm still a fan of the multiple choice action over typed actions.
I'm just thinking how that would actually be implemented. Yeah, I think it's doable.
Yeah, both of them are doable. Typed actions, you just create a little action parser.
Yeah.
And then multiple choice actions is just easily set up.
My concern with that is more like how much work do we want to have to put into things being content or context aware for, like, you know, you can attack in this situation versus not in this situation, and you know, you have gear XYZ, so that means that you can block, but otherwise it'll be a dodge or whatever.
So either way, we have to identify what actions can be done in what situation. And we end up with a list of actions you can do. So typed actions would be you type the action, it parses and runs against the list, and multiple choice actions would be write a little module that takes a list of actions and spits them out in a multiple choice pattern to allow you to choose one of them. Either way, you've got to identify that list, and it's just one little module to do the multiple choice versus a parser for the actions. I think they're about the same work.
Yeah, slightly more complexity for multiple choice, but not meaningfully.
No. Not a day's extra work or anything like that. So in the genre, do you have any ideas there as I'm going through? Is there anything you're wanting to add to any of this? I guess you're in it. You can go around and add.
Yeah, I gave it a quick read through just before the stream started, and I like the ideas that we've been coming up with as a community.
Mm-hmm.
My focus, as you should probably be able to guess, as somebody who works as a UX developer, is how are we going to actually interact with this thing, and how's that going to be for players? And
That's
I think
something I've thought about as well.
Just more in-depth work on the actual HMI is obviously going to be needed.
For those that are unaware, HMI is the human-machine interface, the way the human talks to the machine.
Yeah, I was just gonna explain that. I realized I went all acronym.
No problem. Did you know that IT people have acronyms to define our acronyms? Rage just used a TWA, but we also have quite a few FWAs. Those are 3-word acronyms and 4-word acronyms. How's that for pedantic?
Healthcare too.
Huh? I didn't get that. I just heard a little.
Nariel was saying healthcare as well.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah, you like your acronyms as well, for sure.
Acronyms are definitely efficient. Gotta save on that tech space.
Yep. And then because games are supposed to be fun and people were starting to come up with a few ideas, I let us brainstorm for a while on potential settings, things like that we could do because people love that. HP Lovecraft was not added by me, by the way.
Interesting.
I was super happy. I love HP Lovecraft. The Animal
Personally,
Kingdom.
I'm a big fan of the Animal Kingdom.
That was
I
from
like
Pookie.
that.
And same with fantasy. One of the things I was brainstorming after that was using different animals as different roles. Because I wanted like lurkers to have their thing and these people to have their thing. So maybe like there's a set number, and my alliance system was even worked into this. So like maybe like if you wanted to do the alliance thing and work in herds and whatnot, then you'd want to take a herding ant, like an elk or a deer or something, like something that moves in a group. Not a deer, but like a caribou or an elk or something like that. And then creating the alliances, creating a larger pack would be more valuable, more points.
You get more points for your alliance if you're a herd animal versus
Yep.
if you're a predator, you're more likely to get more points for combat sort of
Exactly. If you wanted to be more of the lone wolf combat idea, you probably wouldn't be a wolf because wolves hunt in packs. So wolves would be the alliance plus combat way of playing the game. Maybe a solo predator like a jaguar or a panther or something like that would primarily get points and be heavily weighted in attack. But then there's limited spots. You could even go into CS:GO ideas with having to buy that one. The pack animals are cheaper. The predators, there can only be a few in the ecosystem, so until that predator is taken out, nobody else can become one.
Not sure about that. I feel like that would sort of shut out lurkers because odds are they will want to play on their own as well. So if they're
Well,
if they're limited in how many slots there are for the class that they want to play, then not really the greatest.
I agree. Maybe there's multiple choices. I mean, it might be an idea we just end up throwing away. I'm just continuing to brainstorm and spitball, obviously. But like,
Yeah.
there's other smaller things that do have mass numbers that do hunt by themselves. So maybe, the jaguar spot is the high point cost, the goal that you want to work your way up to, and you've got to work through a few different steps before you can try to get up to it. I do like the idea of there being like a prestige class goal idea, a limit to something that always adds a lot of bragging right.
That gave me a great idea. You can choose either like solo predator, pack predator, or pack. And as you prestige, as you get through the level system, you get cooler and cooler animals.
Yep. That's right in line with basically what I was saying. I'd like them to have a bonus, a benefit, a difference. Not enough that it's game breaking, obviously, because the lower ones still have to progress.
I would caution giving stats or like drop rate or anything.
No, yeah,
But
but I
I
would
like
love
that
to do it like more like a WoW class, not race ability. It made
Yeah,
each race
yeah.
a little different. It's a tiny little change, just enough to maybe nudge your itemization in a certain way, or change a little thing, or give you just one little benefit. But like I said, not game breaking. Not like
Yeah.
I'm better than you now because I've got this. It's just like I've got this cool new thing that you can't do now, and it's a
Yeah,
better
I've
benefit
got
than
this
you've
other
got.
tool.
Yeah. Like, because as an example, the orc got +5 to the skill in axes back when they had skills, which doesn't sound like a lot, but then you realize you get +5 to that skill every time you level up. So when you finished skilling up that skill and you were at top level, you were actually a level 61 when it came to your swing calculation, which means you needed a lot less plus hit gear to get your full hit, which meant I could stack other more useful stats like health, And it was a very interesting little subtle change, as long as I was using an axe to tank. Just so happened that the best tanking weapon at that time was an axe. I farmed the shit out of it.
I believe it.
It was one of those grind reps to get the item, so I just grinded for like 3 days straight. Literally like 72 hours without stopping.
Dedication.
My character's name was Grind. I gotta live up to it. So while we were talking about genre and RPG, I like the idea of something almost mud-like in it as a grand idea. Species stats based, I like that. Yeah, and then you can. Well, the
work in
species will
classes
have
or
different
something.
stats still, I'm sure.
Not necessarily species, but like family. So like somebody who plays a pure pack animal will have better like money generation and stuff like that. And they would be slightly less good at combat. Whereas somebody who plays like a solo warrior family animal thing will be better at combat but have less resource generation. And then the middle point is, jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, probably combat will aid in point generation at that point, basically.
But not as high as the solo predator.
Pure solo predator, but you'll still get like a passive point generation for like the raising pack aspect, the shared pack aspect. I like that too, because then it almost turns it into a active play style versus passive play style as well, to sort of start accommodating different styles of player and play. One of the things that just popped into my mind, so the whole point of stats is to define strength, weakness, body type, structure, look, definition, stuff like this. So what if the race you are, or the species you are within that structure, isn't necessarily based rawly on points, but the stats you've built up?
To evolve within the family?
Yeah. It's not so necessarily an evolution. Your stats will never change. Your stats will always be the stats you've built. So your species will never affect your stats, but your stats will affect your species. So if you're a pack thing and you're building all health and a bit of speed, and you can live in water and land, you're a hippo.
That would give you like certain availability of people of animals within the grazing category.
Exactly. So you build yourself to be the animal you want to be, and that then classifies you as that.
Also, just putting this out there, the hippo should be top tier.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The hippos are fucking badass. And then, like if you want to get to that predator cat, you've got to be building lots of decks. You've got to be getting your attack rating to a certain point. You've got to have sneaking. You've got to get your crit rating to a certain point. All of a sudden, you're an ambush predator, and nobody should fuck with you. And maybe you can be a panther, or maybe you can be a viper. They both fit.
Just one would need to know how to work with poison.
Yeah. You need to have poison for the viper. Stuff like that. This way...
Yeah, I like it.
There's a lot of customization. There's a very set base of stuff for us to build out of. What do you guys think of that idea?
It's getting pretty interesting. I'd like to hear from chat.
Animals
See if there's anybody around who's paying attention.
I love that the with aliens was attached onto that.
I mean, we could totally put aliens in.
That's no problem. I can squeeze any pieces of lore together. I'm like the ninja spy of lore. Or an ET, yeah, exactly.
I mean, like animal choice trees within the families. So like, everybody starts out as, grasshopper or whatever. And then from there, you can get certain stats and abilities and become a snake Or instead of being a snake, you could be a wombat or whatever.
And then each animal choice will have their own little tiny perks and benefits that aren't super game breaking, but something you can claim, and you can look at what's required to make that one, like what certain stats you need, and start building those stats as you play the game in order to work your way towards that class of animal.
There we go. That's a little better.
Yeah. So that when you're an orangutan, you can brag about it. You can make little sprites for the animals, have them fight each other on screen.
Have like a little animation that plays if you've got like a raiding party of animals that are going up against a boss. Have them like fight off a bulldozer.
Yeah, yeah. Or even an alien attacking the forest.
Yeah.
Aliens are now part of it, and the animals have to defend the forest or their environment from the aliens that are attacking.
Well, it's not meant to be evolutionary, right? It's just video games.
Yeah, it's totally game logic. It's actually more representing different animals with stats and breaking animals out into stat categories to represent who's strong, who's hardy, who's fast, who can fly, who can swim, stuff like that. Maybe we'll even throw some of the fantasy in, because fantasy was included down there. So once you start getting really carried away past normal animal style, you know, if you can swim and fly and you've got the stamina of a whale, that's something interesting.
Be a flying whale.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure if the aliens are watching Low and Raven that we are one of their favorite comedies. It's like living in Canada and watching US news.
You're not wrong.
God.
So I am all in on the animal classes thing. I think that's great.
Yeah, I really like that idea. I as well. Oh, we can start out as a kitten or a puppy.
Yeah.
You've got to work your way up from the cute little domestic puppy.
Well, we'd have like kitten for straight predator, puppy for in the middle.
Yeah.
What would be herbivore, like a bunny?
Yeah,
Cute
bunny's
little bunny.
good, or a guinea pig,
Or guinea pig,
a
yeah.
rabbit. Yeah, I said rabbit. I was thinking a hamster. My first thought.
I think bunny fits the best.
I like bunny. We can even have some pretty big bunnies. Bunny, you could stay
Yeah.
on the bunny tree for a while. We used to own a Flemish giant.
The thick bunny.
Yeah, we got when I was real young, my mom rescued a little rabbit. Literally fit in the palm of her hand. And she thought it was going to be like a little rag doll or a fluffy thing, and it ended up being a Flemish giant and got to like 25 pounds.
When I was young, I lived in a farming community, and I caught a rabbit that was as big as me when I was like 5.
Yep. That's Bun Bun. That's him. My mom has pictures of me holding him like this, carrying him around like as big as me. He's just the biggest, most passive thing.
With the alien stuff, we could always have it be something that like augments the animals themselves or the species. That can give them like the certain abilities, kind of branch out that way.
Okay, so we also want the ability to evolve and add abilities and skills. So what if adding the skills is like alien DNA extraction, and the aliens have come to the planet to gather parts of the animals and experiment and test, and the animals are trying to drive off the aliens and evolving themselves and becoming better, bigger animals to help fend off the aliens, and then the raid bosses could literally be chimeras of different kinds of animals jammed together by the aliens that the raids have to fight off.
I still like the idea of like a band of woodland creatures fighting off a bulldozer. I feel like that needs to be worked in somewhere.
Could be the aliens dropped the bulldozer to clear out the woods.
Aliens could only be an allegory to just like what we do. 'Cause
Yeah.
we walk into the forest, we're pretty alien to to the existing
Yeah,
That's true.
yep,
That's true.
I like that. I like that. It is a good allegory. I still want the flying saucer aspect, but yeah, the bulldozer side. I mean, they would still be landing machinery in order to clear away the ground and make way and build factories and stuff. Be an interesting raid boss. They've put a little factory down in the forest, and you've got to destroy the buildings and beat them back in time. Otherwise, points from the forest come away. That's one of the things we talked about. Is once the boss is brought in, you have a week or two to destroy it. It's not just a positive reward if they do enough damage to it in time. It's a negative punishment if they don't as well.
What would the consequences be?
I
Is there
brainstormed
a
few
state at
things.
which the world loses?
No, but the world. So let's say they pull off an extraction processor and they start sucking more energy out of the planet for a little while. Then, or maybe the penalty is while it's there. They've built this thing, and point generation is halved until they destroy it.
I like that. I like that a lot.
They wanted dice rolls. And one of the things I talked about was including a D20 type system. And then you could actually see what your odds are and see the dice roll and have values come up. And it's not hard to do 3D dice roll animation that'll actually go onto the screen, because if you can render it onto an HTML document, I can overlay it on the screen.
Yeah, I just like what.
This was from the community. They specifically wanted.
How would we make that work though? Like, would
It's-
it be bits to show up on the stream? Would it then talking points to have the results show up in chat, or like
Showing up in chat would be standard for any interaction event, so everyone can see it. For the public interaction events, private interaction
public-
events would be tell, and then visual would be bits. Pretty much any sort of interaction or victory or anything like that can be put onto the screen with bits. So we can just assume that that's there, not necessarily part of game.
thought? What if you can choose to pay a set amount of bits at the start of a combat to have the whole thing show up on stream?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, only the result gets put in chat for world interaction events, raid bosses, clearing dungeons, etc. But otherwise, it all happens within the Whisper system, so we don't spam chat that badly.
That's exactly what I had talked about in the other video, to a T.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're on the completely same page on that one. Yeah, anything public info that's relevant to everyone, like a battle defeat, a battle finish, an event happening, starting, someone interacting with the event, all the finalizations of it that people need to know about definitely happen in chat. But yeah, we didn't want to spam chat. That's one of the things I initially said. I don't know if we actually wrote it down. Yeah. Need to not spam chat. Third thing in the requirements.
Yeah.
So I was saying that most of the information back and forth is going to be intel. And that's, yeah, like if you're in the fight, you'd get your roll result back and what kind of odds you had to get the attack. And I broke it down for everybody to explain how, a D20, every one on it is 5%. If you think about the math, real easy. So 95% chance to hit with a maximum, 5% chance to miss with a minimum.
So my first thought is not going to initially be a problem, but it will be a success problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem we want to have.
Yeah.
Twitch's Whisper system can be quite latency intensive. So we may eventually want to create a Twitch extension or even just like a Chrome extension that just interacts with an API instead.
Yeah, totally. And if we're getting to the point where we're bogging down the tell system because we've got so many players, then we definitely have the time and money to build a new way to interact with the game.
Yeah, that is a success problem.
Yeah.
That is a good problem to have. So I like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a couple of potential down the road issues,
Yeah.
which I think are just not a problem right now, and we should just go ahead with it.
Well, let's talk about them first and make sure we're on the same page with the issues.
Uh,
It's also
one-
good to demonstrate to everybody else that's wanting to make a game to talk about these potential down the road things and how to spitball them and bounce them around on a couple brains to make sure that these aren't going to be an issue moving forward.
Yeah, like obviously the first thing is what I just said, the Twitch's whisper system being what it is. It's unfortunately kind of flaky and latency intensive. It's limited as to how you can interact with it because you don't have the ability to render like graphics or buttons or anything within it. So that would sort of necessitate us either going the route of a Twitch extension or a browser extension.
Yeah. Well, I guess I was just doing this. So Whisper system on Twitch, notoriously slow. What else do we have for potential success problems?
Inability to display complex graphics. Like if this really takes off and we want to make it something that's going to be really nice for users to play with, then we're going to want to turn it into a Twitch extension or something.
Yeah, definitely.
What else? What else do I see coming? Player economy, I feel like, is going to be difficult to manage.
Well, even in economy is always difficult to manage, but if we're going into this animal system, I guess we will need an economy system still within it. I'm a big fan of player-driven economies.
But we do need to have like some sort of sync.
Oh yeah,
for
no,
money?
for sure. I mean, let's be clear to everybody who wants to make a game. The economy system is one of the hardest things you're ever going to make if you're making a multiplayer game. There's a reason that MMOs hire economy majors in order to help them design the economy systems within their game, like teams of them.
They still go broke.
And they're still broken. It's really hard to make an economy system that works. Even our own globally developed economy systems that we use in real life are
Pretty
subject to inflation, as we know.
I can't just print more money.
Yeah, you can. That's the problem. So yeah, economy is going to be difficult to do, but it's also one of my favorite things to play with, and I'm all for player-driven economies and players selling items themselves and not having vendors, but
I think some sort of consumables economy would be really good.
Absolutely. This seems cool. Excellent.
Yeah, thanks, Sassy Foods.
Welcome, Sassy. How you doing today?
Glad you're enjoying it.
We want your ideas too, so go ahead and spitball with us. This is the game that we're making for you guys. It's really your game. We're spitballing ideas because we love to do this, and we're trying to get people going.
We're
Life's
definitely getting
great.
into tools for like player management and game management and stuff like that. Some sort of admin panel or tools for ourselves, just in case like somehow the game gets to a certain kind of broken state or some other stuff happens, or you never know when there's a player who finds some sort of exploit or maliciousness, and we want to make sure that we can kind of
That's not even a success problem. That is a straight up requirement for the game.
yeah.
Admin tools for player resource management. We definitely going to need some way to directly like memory edit if worse comes to worse.
Yeah, my thinking right now is build out a fairly robust authentication system, and I'm thinking just like use Firebase and put the bot somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, sounds good. And then the whole information system for player state and all that will live right in a probably like a NoSQL.
Yeah.
And then if we have any
ID.
issues on data side, it's really, really easy to jump into a NoSQL doc and just update some values in it.
Yeah. My thoughts exactly.
Okay. Yeah, the player tools will be limited at the beginning, but as long as it's all just interpretations of state held in NoSQL, it's going to be really easy to fix if I need. That's what I do anyway. My job. I can't do that. There's something.
So just as a couple of notes underneath economy system, I do want to include some sort of consumables economy as well as like repair or something, like just something that's a gold sink.
Yeah, repair or heal. We were talking about the ability to grow and expand the character, so I enjoy the idea. Do we want? I guess we want that experience based, but we could do it both. So like experience required in order to up it, plus training cost or metamorphic cost or whatever to use the items, apply the skill item needed, stuff like that.
Maybe you need to buy the item or have it as a drop in order to make that change.
Yeah, that's my idea, was to get it as a drop. If you want those abilities and stuff like that, you've got to go fighting the either taking it from other people if everybody's cool with a cannibalistic PvP side, because I love that. I'm a
take
dick.
it from people. You can fight enemies for it.
Yeah, get it
or
yourself.
Or if you want like farming specific stuff, you can get it by doing enough growing.
Or just buy it from a player.
Yeah, or just buy it off the marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the player-driven economy side. And that would go under consumables, I'd say. I'm going to just add it right to consumable/upgrade economy. Repairing and healing economy. What other money sinks can you all think of? What do you guys like? What do you remember playing games where you're like, this is a great way to keep my money low? Oh, I know one. Inventory upgrade.
Yeah, inventory upgrades.
That one can be an infinite one.
Flare as well.
So here's a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Just twigged on me from Bloodborne, actually.
Oh, I love
Our
that game.
primary currency should be both experience and money.
You want it to be the same currency?
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I've always loved the soul
system. You have a secondary currency for other things, but your primary currency is for your repair/heal and consumable/upgrade.
It makes a lot more sense in the Animal Kingdom style to not have a monetary money.
But I like the idea of like insight from Bloodborne or humanity from Dark Souls as a secondary currency that will unlock some sort of ability or something. But, or, you know, maybe inventory upgrades are bought with renown rather than experience.
Yeah. I like that, because if you're merging money and experience, the instant money experience sync becomes, leveling up your character. And that's an exponential increased cost, and those stats never stop. I'm not ever going to, there's no such thing as a max. You can just keep going. Go nuts. It will become ineffective very quickly.
So I thought of another idea for like a renown sort of system, a secondary currency.
Mm-hmm.
That would be used for prestiging. That would be used for inventory upgrades. That would be used for like meta upgrades to your character. Whereas experience is used as your main currency and also like leveling up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the secondary experience should probably be something alien. If aliens are the enemy in this animal kingdom.
Well, the way that we're setting it up, like being able to prestige and having that be like something to aspire for, I like using a system. Yeah, DNA, that's good. So like something like DNA, like Raven suggested, or something like renown, like you've become famous, you're a hero in the community, and then you then spend that on becoming different, more differenter.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about before, with like a mutagenic aspect from the aliens, something that you can use to mutate, morph, change yourself, add new abilities. That's how you get poison, that's how you get flying, that's how you get swimming, that's how you get underwater breathing, those little keyword tags that you need to actually become the animal you want. You look like you want to respond to Sassy.
I was just reading it.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, we basically have that, Sassy. And I think you came in after we started talking about this, but we've got 3 categories of animal right now, where you've got a herd, like herbivore, grazing animal, and those are the ones that gain the passive points, that weekly income, just from surviving. You're always eating. There's your pack hunter combinations. Everyone gonna end up a hippo. Aw, yeah. Your pack hunter combinations, where you will get a little bit of natural benefit just from being in a pack. There's sharing. You know, maybe the pack ones, their passive bonus is more based on the output of the rest of the pack. It's an idea.
Yeah, and I like that.
Yeah. And then you've got your raw predators that are solo, top of the food chain predators, and they're explicitly gained from combat, but they get a big bonus to combat. So if you're a very active player, you like the combat, you're on the stream all the time, and you want to be playing the game, you can take that active, play the game, get more reward from it. And if you're more of a lurker and you're frequently here, but you don't want to interact and you just want to watch, then you can take the herd pack animal, where just being there and interacting with the rest of the pack animals by being there and grazing with them, you sort of share your rewards and create bonus that way.
And then something in the middle.
Yeah. And maybe even a solo grazer. I think there's some of those too. So there's lots of room for us to create play styles within it, which was our goal. Which was our goal in this. We want all the play styles for the different types of people that are in chat. Because, you know, your chat is not made up of one type of person. There's lots of lurkers. There's lots of people who are active. There's people that do a little bit of both. There's people that want to interact with other people. There's people that only want to interact with the streamer. So we want something for everyone.
A part of the potential success proms, we'll probably have to make sure to keep this fairly interactive with the stream itself, because what might end up happening, and this is a very, very long shot, but let's say if the game is really, really fun, then people show up just to play the game and not actually pay attention to the stream at all. It could get kind of interesting for everyone else that's trying to do.
Yeah. But if the bot game is, I don't
that as a problem.
Yeah, I don't see that as a problem. That's putting butts in the seats, and worst case scenario at that point. Okay, here's something I was thinking. Are we going to open source this?
I would like to eventually.
Okay, but we're not going to do it right away.
Not right away. Got to get it to a workable, secure state first.
Okay, yeah, I'm fully with you on that. Because we're all about creating games here and we're including them on the creation, I fully want all of you out there to be able to just come and grab this and look at how we've built things and implemented things.
And then if you know a better way, open a pull request. Nobody's perfect. There's always better ways to do things.
Yeah, and then you can all partake and help build and add on, and we'll be doing these sessions whenever we change it. So I guarantee you, when we're finished this and people start playing with it, we're going to find things that are broken real quick. No game is perfect the first time it's designed and built. So then you'll get to see how your choices actually manifest as breaks in the game and chunks, and then you'll get to be part of the redesign in the fix. What's up, Rage?
Fishing mini game for the gatherers. You can do like fishing. You can do like, you know, how much stuff you're going to gather from the forest. I like it.
We always need a fishing minigame. Fishing minigame is core to every game out there, isn't it?
It's true. If it doesn't have a fishing minigame, like, is it even really a game at that point?
We should totally publish the game as a mobile app. I mean,
Maybe.
if it gets to the point on the success problem where Whisper system on Twitch is notoriously slow, that's where we're talking about turning it into a Twitch extension. At the point that it's an extension, it's not the biggest chunk of work in the world to start putting it onto a mobile device. It's already got most of the form factor and everything done.
The tough part would be like actually porting it over to being a native app rather than just something that runs on top of like Electron or something.
React Native's pretty good for that, at least.
Yeah. React Native's also a pain to work with, though. I've been playing with it recently.
Oh, I've absolutely loved it. I found it so much better than traditional development for.
Yeah, but like compared to somebody who works in actual React on a daily basis,
Yeah, I do.
I don't like React Native. I much prefer actual React. But I mean, that's a down the road problem. We'll get there when we get there.
Totally. Yeah, that's a ways away. So I think we've got a pretty good idea on where we're actually going and the style we're doing and how we're including people. So we've got an hour left to bang out ideas for UI. Because it's a pretty important part of this game. Since we're so limited, and that's one of our biggest requirements and biggest limitations is the text-only interface, I think it deserves time and thought on this one. We do 4 to 6 on these panels because
that's our set aside time for the panel, and then afterwards we'll probably be playing some Wolfson. But
yeah,
for now we're working on specifically the game.
And if there's huge demand for these panels and you're telling us that you want more than an hour, we'll definitely look at doing more than an hour, maybe sometimes. A lot of the topics we do are 2-hour topics. We pretty much get through them in time.
Yeah, there's been a couple instances where we get about, an hour and a half, an hour 45 minutes in, and we just kind of hit the end of our talking points and we're like,
But then there's those times where we hit 2.5 hours and we go, oh, geez.
Yeah. Is also equally a thing.
Only I could manage my time like this.
It takes a lot of practice.
The management comes from necessity. The reason that we're doing 2 hours is because it's difficult to get 2 hours to do this. Getting 3 people that are all busy people together is its own task and reward. I mean,
yeah, especially when you get to do cool stuff like this.
Yeah, I love games. If you couldn't guess. So Sassy, I know you're a bit of a computer guy. You were throwing some stuff and ideas around with me yesterday. What are your ideas? So the 2 things we came up with was, and I don't know if you've done much MUD in the past, but how most MUDs worked was action parse. So you come up and go attack, talk, trade, stuff like this. Whereas the game already usually knows what your command options will be. So at that point, you usually open with like a help or and you get your list back. But since we already have that list, I also had the option of we could do like a multiple choice. So just like make a module where we can pump the list in and it spits out your options as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your response is 1. And this way you can't typo, you can't not realize, although you can't not realize you could have used a command, but at the same time, if you didn't realize, that's on you. And it does add a layer of player skill and player awareness, and I do like rewarding player awareness.
I mean, MUD is something that we can always interface it later, right? It would just be something that would layer on top of the existing multiple choice.
So why does multiple choice get your vote, Raven?
So I'm going to let Raven say his thing, and then I'm going to put in my 2 cents.
Quicker,
Cute
simple,
puppy
no
dog.
typos. Okay. All fair and valid points. I like multiple choice because of games like Mount and Blade. Yeah, they use the multiple choice there as well, but that's a much simpler interface with usually only 1, 2, 3 options to choose from as well.
I like the idea of multiple choice because it lets new players know what they can do.
Yes,
It
that's
isn't
my thing.
another barrier to entry. And as a new player, I'd be typing question mark every single time just to see what I can do.
Yep.
And if you are an experienced player, you already know what's going to be in that list. So just having it printed out is, yeah, whatever, just hit the button, go.
Yep.
And it's less interactions necessary, less interactions with the Twitch Whisper system, which can be quite flaky. So overall, I think it'll be a better experience.
Okay. It sounds like you're all in line with me. I put those both down as possibilities. I'm personally a much bigger fan of the multiple choice system because when I tried to play old MUDs and stuff like that back in the day, and all the old RPGs that were, action parse interface, I'd just be like, I got no fucking idea what. And I just get bored, tired of trying to figure out this ridiculous interface system. A lot of people loved it, so I wrote it down, but I'm not a fan. Multiple choice action parse. So we've got stats. Do you want to use a standard D20 stat?
I like the idea of doing point buy.
Yeah. But I mean the stats
Like
themselves.
the
Use the standard 6.
Stat. Yeah. I
we-
don't think rolling will be good for a system like this for
No.
stats.
No, you start at a set point. Everybody starts the same.
Yeah, everybody
well,
starts
of a few
across the board.
options, but you start all at the same numbers. Might not necessarily be 10, but could be lower.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, start neutral, start low, allow them to build however they want. Definitely. So, big 6 stats? Question?
Will we? Okay, so what will we have uses for?
What are y'all
King
making?
Alpha.
Hey, King Alpha, how you doing? We are designing the game that is going to run in the bot in that chat that you're talking in right now.
And also the Whisper system.
Yeah. It'll also run through the Whisper system and through some HTML interception and put up onto the screen and fun things like that. But primarily, it's the game that you guys are going to be playing when you visit the channel. And then we'll open source it once it's done.
Yeah. And if you're interested in some of the previous decisions we made, do check out the VOD from yesterday. Or was it last week?
Last
It
week.
was last week.
Yeah.
Where Pseudo and Deus went over a lot of this stuff. Well, I unfortunately wasn't here, but I had access to the notes, so I just cheated and read the notes.
Yeah, and then you can also click that Google Doc link that RageBot is so kindly spamming for us. RageBot is also going to be the host of the game someday. Thanks, RageBot. Doing mods work.
Yay.
All right, so we are up to UI ideas and ways that we want to interact with this. Feel free to read through the chart, and if you have any ideas while you're reading it or questions, interrupt us, throw them out. It's interactive. Let's do it.
So I was just thinking about, like, will we need all big 6 stats?
That's what I was
And I
thinking
think
too. Charisma.
We definitely do need strength.
Yep.
We definitely do need
Dex.
dexterity.
Yep.
We definitely do need constitution.
Yep.
We definitely need
Intelligence.
charisma.
No, we need intelligence.
Why would we need intelligence?
Monkeys and
Have
whales, and there's
you guys
a
ever-
vast intelligence difference in the animal world. Vast.
Have you ever watched the YouTube channel of Tierzoo? Because I feel like Tierzoo would probably be an amazing source of inspiration for this.
No, I
He
haven't.
basically takes the animal kingdom and turns it into like a RuneScape kind of world, and it's just hilarious. It's very like it's an educational channel, but it's just hilarious. But he actually breaks down like all the builds of each individual species and stuff like that. And he has a stat list. I'm gonna try to find or pull up
Interesting.
what
That sounds
stats he actually has.
Throw the link.
Post that in the Discord.
Yeah, I was gonna say throw it in the Discord. I'll definitely go through it and watch it, and hopefully it'll help inspire a few other people as well. That sounds cool. I've been want something else to watch anyway, so.
But like my question with the intelligence specifically, what would it do for a player?
Other than being a requirement to hit certain classes?
And at that point, it's just an experience sink.
Possibly.
Like it
But it
feels
could
like
allow-
it feels like a vestigial gate to me.
You could allow like certain actions or certain things.
Yeah, I like it as... I could see it as affecting alliance points, allowing you to work better with other people.
That's what I see charisma as.
See, charisma
So-
was the one that I was questioning the need for.
To go over what Tirzu has, he's got intelligence, power, defense, mobility, health points, and stealth as the builds that every or the stats that every build can have in the world.
So I'm going to say that the big 6 stats are really, really good for defining humans, and we need to make our own stats for animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
agree.
Well, watch if you go through this. This is what he does. He goes through animals. He goes through.
Well, I don't know why it's under
basic-
UI, but I'm going to go up. Throw it under the genre. RPG, right under it. We need our own stat definitions for the animals. That's something we'll have to do.
Could be like the escapist where you have to have intelligence to make something. Interesting. So
Yeah.
intelligence would be valuable for the gathering and semi-gathering classes so that they could generate player-created items.
Yeah,
Okay.
to then go
Okay.
into a semi-crafting system in there, and you
Hey,
are
Lord.
late. How dare you? Welcome to the stream. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, definitely plays it.
I am back on the intelligence bandwagon.
Thank you,
That's
King.
a really good point, King Alpha.
Yeah, you're my new favorite member. You got rage on my side. Turning rage is like trying to convince Bort to do something.
I'm a man of strong opinions that are loosely held. If you can give me a good reason, I'll drop them.
What did you?
You missed a bunch of game design board. We've decided on the general idea that we would like to have behind the game.
It ended up being the Animal Kingdom from Pookie. That's the idea we are thoroughly running with. Pookie standing right over.
Intelligence build ends in octopus. Oh, I love that. Because
Totally.
you've got like all the tentacles and you make stuff.
And they're
Yeah.
incredibly intelligent creatures. Yeah, but you would also have to meld your underwater breathing.
Yep.
Yeah, good old
I like it.
cephalopods.
Yeah. I'm 100% back on the intelligence bus.
Yeah, but I honestly don't see charisma as...
If we're
Hang in
going
there.
to use intelligence as that stat, I agree.
Okay. Because charisma is really your ability to get somebody else to do what you want. That doesn't really happen in the animal world. You get eaten or you escape.
See, I see charisma as also like being able to rally people to your side, being a better herd member.
Yeah,
That
but
sort of thing.
that's going to be a varied stat within the class, not a definition of that animal. You're still going to have low and high charisma within every animal's group.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
In this game, what are you actually playing as? An animal.
you get to play as a cute animal, and you get to, by picking your stats, get different choices for you to like prestige into, and grow and gain different tools to be able to deal with situations.
So let's say you start the game and you're starting as a cat because you want to be a house cat because you want to be an alpha predator eventually. You're going to be the solo one. Let's say you wanted to be a great white shark. So you'd then be set out to build your attack, build your dex, build your strength, and also you'd have to find a way to get the ability to breathe underwater from the aliens and meld that into your DNA.
And say, you're saying you want to be a wolf. Well, you would probably start in the middle. You wouldn't want to be purely like herbivore pack animal. You wouldn't want to be pure predator. You'd want to be right in the middle and be able to, run really fast. You'd want to be able to do pack hunting.
Run reasonably fast. Wolves aren't actually that fast.
They're pretty fast.
They're not as fast as anything
they're not
they hunt.
like cheetah fast.
They're not as fast as anything they hunt. Everything they hunt is faster than them. They use pack positioning to run the animals into the other wolves and continue them and actually run them to death by trading off and switching back and forth.
Just like humans.
Yeah.
That's why we get along so well.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean,
we're then going to, you'll get your traits to be a wolf, and eventually you'll be able to level into being a wolf.
Yeah, little bunny rabbits can run fast. Yeah. So I'm just going to go back and hit a few questions that were asked here. Extinct animals count? Potentially, totally, maybe. And y'all using types of animals or just only a select few? I mean, it's not going to be every animal on the planet because that would be a lot of coding and design
But it
work.
is going to be quite a few.
Yeah, we want to get a lot, and I'm not completely bound to just using animals. I mean, it's maybe a future, don't need it right away because fantasy animals are going to be so much huger and more extravagant, but if some guy got, a mammoth and then just kept building it and building it and building it and made it fly and some other things, then maybe it became something else, fantasy related, giant flying elephant from some mythology that I can find. I'm like, hey, this would be fun, let's add this in. And like I
Personally,
said,
I'm a big fan of literal flying whales.
yeah, I liked that one too.
I really like that.
But this is a fluid game, and games, you don't just make the first iteration of it and you're done. The first animals put into it are what we're going to play with, and you guys are really the ones that are helping decide what animals go into it and what stats for what animals. We're guiding your design, but you're the ones designing this in the end. We're taking your ideas and just making sure it stays congruent and fits and works together and will be a package that's playable at the end. But once we've played it for 2, 3, 4 months, we'll definitely be like, we want to change this, we want to change this, we want to add these in, and we'll do more panels and keep adding. Once you are a wolf, you can add new members to your pack. Well, how it'll work is all the wolves will work in community. So you'll be trying to meet other wolves and create alliances with them, or pack hunters in general, because you're all working together, and create alliances with them to create your passive pool of points. But then you're also going to have to be actively hunting to supplement your passive pool of points, because your passive pool of points won't be enough to keep up with just the regular herd animals by itself. You'll have to be hunting them as well.
And then the flip side of that is you won't also be able to hunt. I'm going to try this again. If it doesn't work, you can give up.
Hold up. Yes, that message went through, though. Yep.
You also won't be able to keep up with the pure hunters by only hunting.
Yep.
I did it.
Yeah. That's the goal, basically. That you can have one path, the other path, or use both paths, but each one gives a limited subset.
No. Got to get that fiber internet connection, Mr. Lowe.
Well, he's probably in some little Italian countryside or something.
Got to get that fiber internet connection, Mr. Lowe.
Just on a random side note, something I was thought about The patch notes for this will be hilarious when we're done because we can just reference to everything being evolutions. So if we nerf or buff a species, it can just live of this species has evolved to have this and this and this now.
Yep.
I love it.
I want to build a turtle that can mop the floor with a bear. I mean, there were turtles in the past that could mop the floor with a bear today.
There were bear-sized turtles.
The Galapagos turtles and like a really small brown bear? Maybe.
Well, I mean, they just pulled up a turtle shell recently that shows signs of a, like, basically fighting / getting bit by a, the Titanoboa, but a megalodon.
Yeah.
And it's this turtle shell that's the size of a car, and it's got a bite in the top corner that a person, like 6 foot me person, can just lay in the bite mark. That's a
Things
big
used
turtle.
to be big. Things used to be really big.
And something you guys don't know about me, I'm a massive old creatures, dinosaurs buff. Like, you know when you're a little kid and you're in elementary school and they're going around the class asking everyone what they want to be for when they grow up, and everyone's like, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a police officer. It came around to me, I'm like, I want to be a paleontologist. And the teacher's like, you know that word? I've been a huge fan since the beginning. King of all serpents besides Lucy. What about Quetzalcoatl? Huh?
We're also bored in response to your question. We are thinking you will be able to go into subspecies of an animal rather than just like a bear. You could be a grizzly bear if you have enough prestige, if you have enough DNA mutations, and if you have the stats for it.
If you're working towards bear, you'd probably end up being a black bear first. And if you keep growing your strength and growing your stamina, then you'll turn into a grizzly. And if you keep going and going and going, maybe we'll even go to a subset of grizzly, the Kodiak, which is actually just a grizzly from a different area. And because of the better area, they get much bigger there. But they're really just a grizzly.
They huge.
The biggest one on record killed stood 16 feet on its hind legs. To put that into perspective, I'm 6'2". That means I could stand on the roof of a 1-story house, and it could stand on the floor and stand on its hind legs and look me in the eye.
That's a big bear.
That's a
And then
big
eat
bear. And then eat you. Do dinosaurs count? I got the aisle in mind right now.
Alligators still exist.
Yeah, alligators still exist. That's the start of dino. And like I said, dino is something that's close to my heart and I love and I know shit tons about. So it's not hard to add it in, and I'm totally happy to add them later. But it's probably going to be a version 2, version 3 thing.
Yeah, that's a down the road release.
Yeah, but totally, absolutely. That is a freaking huge bear.
That's a big bear.
When they eventually got out and hunted and killed it, unfortunately, because it was attacking people, which is sad that monster of a bear had to be taken down because he was alive for a long time. But they found something like 24 different types of ammunition within it, like healed up within it throughout time. This thing's been shot dozens and dozens of times in its life, and all it did was piss it off.
Bear don't care.
Yeah, don't miss the bear. And with that bear, don't even shoot at it. just leave.
You don't want to be there anymore.
So do we want to polish up the UI ideas right now, or do we want to focus back on the stat system that we're
not super focused, but we're also working with a bunch of people who have never really designed a game, so we gotta just jump with their ideas sometimes. A breeding system. I did talk last time when we were spitballing ideas about a potential generation system to allow. That was when we were going into like a hardcore PvP system where when you die and all your gear is gone, but you can keep what you had in your stash at home. I love a brutal cannibalistic hardcore PvP system, but we've moved a little bit away from that, but not a lot away from that.
I think it would be difficult to do a good breeding system.
Yeah, I agree. With the system we have, breeding doesn't fit within it at all. Because you've got one stock base that you've started, and you're just building it. So I don't, like, you're never going to have a reason for that to die, and any sort of a breeding would have to lower your stats. The only way a breeding system in my current view partially fits is more as a rebirth system when you want to change to a pack animal or something like that.
Yeah. If
Where you
like
get
if
some
you
sort of
wanted to
upgrade.
change archetype.
Yeah. Change your tree, and maybe we'll have a mutation system where you can mutate, not lose everything you've gained, and then jump onto another tree that way. Maybe certain types have to sacrifice certain stats. You know, if you're your predator, you have to give up most of your strength and your dex and stuff like that you've been building to swap over, but you can keep the stats key to that role. So if you're becoming a herd animal, it's int and stam. Breed with other viewers and create super animals. I don't have a lewd emote, but I would totally use it if I had one. I should go sub to
Don't worry, I got
Squilla
it
again.
covered.
I miss my Squilla lewd emote. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. I like the Fae one. Of course I do. Damn her and her cute emotes.
They're so cute.
They're so cute. All right. So what else do we need for UI? Multiple choice action parsing is basically what everyone agreed on.
I'd like to have some sort of like map thing for like going through dungeons and stuff and being able to choose, but I don't know how well that would actually work because we'd have to like do it in ASCII for Twitch's whisper system and like hope that the widths are consistent.
Yeah. So I'm going to put it down anyway.
Hey, Pookie.
Hey, Pookie Celeste. Hello. Okay, so location map. Dungeon. Navigation. Question dash. After it becomes extension. Question.
Yeah.
I
And,
agree. I love
that's-
dungeon crawling and stuff like that, and a lot of people love it. It's a very popular genre of game in general, and I'd love to include more of it.
In reply to you, Sassy, having multiple choice evolutions, that's essentially what we're thinking. And it'll be gated by what your stats are and what your abilities are. So, like, if you have the ability to fly and you're a predator, then you can become a raptor of some sort, a falcon or something.
Yeah, maybe you don't have enough speed yet to be the peregrine hawk, but you can start as something a little slower and work your way up. Or you've got the speed, but you don't have the size to be a golden eagle. So you got to work on your size and get your size up. And then once you've met certain thresholds, you can evolve into that new animal type and get the whatever bonuses and effects of that animal, which we've agreed have to be relevant but non-consequential. You can't be game changing. A raven. Yep.
Could be a raven.
How often do y'all stream? Because I'm going to watch all of them and as long as I can. Y'all are awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy it. Follow. It's the best way to find out about us. But we do this every Saturday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. And then I stream games all week.
Almost
basically.
every other day.
Pretty much every day. And then while we're playing those games, we always approach them with a developer and game design eye. So we're looking at all the systems and how everything interacts and what we like and what we don't like, and we pick it apart. And we try to stick to really good games to introduce you guys to our favorites, the things that inspired us to design games.
Like recently, we got Deus to play through Doom 2016 again, which was fantastic.
Rip and tear!
Before that, we were doing some of the Resident Evil series, which was really fun.
We're planning on doing 3 when it comes out, and I have 4, 5, 6 as well, so I'm expecting people are just going to make me play the whole series. Meat chunks.
That's fun, yeah. And what else did we do recently? We were doing some co-op Monster Hunter, you and I. We were doing some Destiny 2 a while back.
Yep. No, Love the Monster Hunter. I play a lot of on chill day. So I've even I love games so much that I turned what games I play on every Monday and Friday into a game. So if you go ahead and click on the link down at the bottom that says Chill Day, page 1 will show all the games that we play on Chill Day, and page 2 will tell you the rules for how it's decided and how you can influence which game is played. I'm looking forward to seeing broken the game is that you're playing after from the reviews I read. I want to see you analyze it and say what's wrong with it. Oh, I forgot the name already. By the way, I'm terrible with names. Sorry.
Oh, King Alpha, you're doing game design at school.
Yeah, that's
awesome. Very cool.
Awesome. We love it. We love it. We all work in software as well. Rage and Sudo actually lay the code, and I fix other people's mistakes. And work on their BS for them. Rip and Tear are for the Wolverines. Even bears are scared of that shit. Amen. That's an alpha.
Well, Wolverine is going to be like top tier Predator somewhere in there.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be all strength and all dex.
Wolson, thank you. Yeah, that's the one.
Shall we discuss like actual viewing of stats and how that would probably should be fairly straightforward, but it kind of depends on what chat wants to see when they give that command.
Yeah, I agree. We should definitely get their intake on that UI. I'm also going to create a couple UI categories here real quick. What is Intel? What is in chat? What is on screen? Van Marchand.
Wrong chat, Lo. I believe you.
Van Marchand.
Hey, Riftkick. How's it going?
Hey, Riftkick. We are working on the UI for the bot game right now. King Alpha Riftkick just published his first title in quite a while. King Alpha is one of our new finders that is actually planning to go to school for game design. Awesome. Riftkick and I recently designed a collectible card game together that is so much fun to play. That's a great one. It's on hiatus right now because it's an ass ton of work and it's been in the process for years. I'm streaming. He had another project to work on, but we'll tell you about that one sometime. We built a card game that plays like a real-time strategy game, and it's just so cool.
So as far as tell system goes, I'm thinking that's where all the main game interaction is going to be. Like, purchasing items off the auction house, combat, using items, that sort of thing. Leveling. In chat, I would like to see, like, you can pay talking points to highlight your combat and also, like, world event stuff. Like, in chat, it'll just say, alien extractor landed, go deal with it, whatever.
Major group events, for sure. Combat results, always. So if you lose, people find out you lost. You win, people find out you win. Always in chat?
I can see that getting very noisy.
Okay.
We can always reduce it as it goes, but maybe in the initial run it could be there.
Yeah. We can always try it.
Let's try it out.
Should just make sure to, on a technical note, make sure to keep as much configurable as possible.
Yeah.
Pseudo is so smiley.
Isn't
Maybe
it great?
not combat results, but maybe level ups. I think leveling and level ups will be Intel, but level up. No. They'll be Intel or what is on screen always uses bits. That's not because I'm milking bits out of you guys. That's because if we don't make it cost bits, it becomes spam on the screen of the game.
So I'm thinking for if you want to show off your level up or your evolution, then you can spend talking points to do that in the chat as a highlighted message.
Okay, yeah. If as long as we have that talking point API access in order to spend talking points within the game, then I'm down with putting more into chat based on talking points and more onto screen based on bits. I like that idea.
Nice. Glad you like
and everything
making
looks
it
great
fun.
so far. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, this is also a nice document to help you keep your own games ideas sorted out and clear as you're making them. I talked to a couple people recently that wanted to design a game and just were kind of all over and didn't have that clear consensus on what they wanted to do, so I threw a basic design doc together, and it added a lot to his design and his process. So I thought this would be real helpful for everyone.
Definitely, especially if you're doing something collaborative, making sure everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, it's totally different trying to work as a team. That was the big thing, is they had asked in general for help, and I just started asking a lot of questions, because like, you can't just come up and help somebody make a game unless you know what they're trying to make. Otherwise, you're both making different things.
Yeah, I've ran into that a couple of times designing games with friends, and you'll get, so far into it and then realize you just have this base assumption that is totally different from each other.
Yeah, that's a big problem. So level ups and combat and raid events will be on screen. Raid events do not cost bits, as a note. That's like, this week a monster is attacking, and drawn up here in the little corner of the stream will be whatever it is that's attacking, and maybe a health bar at the top. And the entire week you guys just spend beating it down and beating it down and beating it down and trying to destroy that health bar. And some negative thing happens while it's there, and or if it's not beaten in time, something negative happens, and then you guys gain the items and experience if you beat it.
I like it.
Yeah, that one sounds fun. It's always on the screen. It's there to remind you. It's very visual. It's a nice cue. It's going to be a fun part. Other than level ups and combat on screen, is that really it?
I think like
rare
world events,
items
level ups, and combat.
Found,
Only for brags.
crafted.
Only if you brag with bits.
Yeah, well, everything's bits. I've stated at the top. I've actually just specifically stated raid events do not use bits.
Yeah, I like the idea of the brag system. I just don't want it to get too busy.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why it's bit cost for anything on stream, to prevent just spam. I've got this basic item, let's just show it off to everybody, and probably not going to be spending bits to do that. If you are, I'm okay with it. You're spending bits. I've got to be honest. I'm not opposed to you spending bits. I don't want to milk you from bits. I'm not trying to make this just to get bits out of you. Totally not the purpose. It's not going to be an expensive bit cost unless people start using it. We have to put it up. Don't make us have to put it up, okay? But it's there as a safety. Don't have to ask me twice.
So to continue with what's in chat, I would say rare items and stuff.
Yeah.
Also can be bragged with talking points for chat.
Oh, in chat, yes. Rare items found / crafted. So if we have a marketplace, then perhaps talking points to advertise an item for sale.
I like it.
And that could easily be a way to generate more income quicker, become the better merchant, spend more time, get more talking points, you can advertise more stuff.
So now I'm thinking, do we end up being like the Yell channel in most cities in MMOs? But my thought is then we could have it send out just like broadcasts in tells rather than in chat itself, because otherwise you're going to end up with these massive blocks of just people advertising shit in the game.
So King Alpha, to answer that, no, I'm not going to make legendary items, but I'm going to follow it up with a question. Are you going to make legendary items?
Because that's totally something we could put in the game.
That's
Yeah,
like
if
I said,
they want it,
we're,
yeah.
we're building it. We're here to guide your design, but I don't want to design this game. I want to help you guys design this game because you're the ones who are going to play it more. I really want you guys to get to design a game and see how it plays out once you've put your ideas together.
Because the more people make games, the more games there are, and the more people are informed about making games, the better the games are.
And we love good games. There's a serious shortage of good games due to AAA developers and micromanagement and monetization and gambling and loot boxes and addictive culture, and let's burn it all down and make good games again.
Which we did a whole episode on.
Yeah, totally. If you're enjoying this, watch our previous panels, and I'm sure you'll get some enjoyment out of it. There's a couple good ones, a couple weak ones, but we're human. Mostly.
Not always perfect.
Mostly human. See, tell is just main attraction. That's all that needs to be said. Everything not listed.
I feel like talking points to advertise through Tell is potentially better than having it in chat.
How do you advertise it in Tell? Sends a Tell to everybody in chat?
Yeah, it just broadcasts a Tell to everybody who's actively playing the game.
I guess it lets them unsubscribe from it as well if they want.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. No, that's not right. Down here, you disappeared on me. Get that there in there.
Something, don't move parts of your UI.
Can I turn off the pages?
Probably. I don't know how.
I just did.
Yay, we did it.
You print layout. I think that allows for most of it. What do you guys want? As you're playing this game and you're finding things and doing things, what do you want to be able to brag about in chat? But also keep in mind, we don't want to spam our chat because you want to be able to have a conversation with people too. That sounds good. Like after every level or something, during that level, you have to find one item and say after 5 levels, you put all the pieces together to get one piece. And after you collect, say, all 5 pieces, we have the ability to make one legendary item and have to choose one that best benefits our playstyle and character. Sorry, I missed it. What is the win condition? There is no win condition.
This is an endless grind.
Yeah. You infinitely
much
make
like
your...
most MMOs.
Yeah, you infinitely make your animal more and more powerful, becoming bigger and stronger animals as you feel like you want to become. You totally guide your own progress to determine which animal you want to make it to. And then just do what that animal should do. So if you're a predator, it's all about combat. That's where you get most of your points from. If you're a pack animal, then you're entirely about working with others and creating communities in order to passively gain benefits. Yeah, the win condition is when I retire.
The win condition is having enough money to retire. That's it.
You know what I would do if I retired? I would stream.
Yes. It'd be great.
I love it. It's fun. I love doing this. It's too good. I love you guys too. All of it is good.
Yeah. The idea that King Alpha had, being able to gather materials for a super strong item, absolutely. I love it. It can totally be part of the crafting system.
Yep.
You'd have to bring it to a more dexterous animal, like some sort of ape, perhaps, who has the dexterity to create that item for you.
Yep, the crafters and the gatherers.
Be able to do that, and then you can, work out a deal to pay them a certain amount to get that put together for you.
Absolutely. That's a complicated set of interactions, right? Thankfully, it's all done through text, so the background is fairly easy.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there's the combination pack predator, like a wolf, which will gain points from the alliances he makes to be a bigger pack, but also gain points from hunting. The points he gains can then be spent on increasing his stats to go from a wolf to a... who knows? I think wolf will probably be close to the top for pack predators, but... yeah, a pet simulator all about grinding and bragging rights. Exactly. And then being able to put your bragging rights into chat or up onto the stream, or if you have a beef with somebody, you can put your combat right up on the screen. Spend a few bits in your actual characters, personas of your characters will come up and duke it out and see the numbers pop up and the health bars go down and everyone can watch. You just watched How to Train Your Dragon. That was a great movie. Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
no, 2 was pretty good too. 2 was good too. Hey, I'm glad you joined the Discord. Welcome, welcome. We have some cool tech stuff on there too. If you're going into game school, definitely check out the game tech channel. Pseudo put some really cool stuff on there from Ubi.
And totally down to potentially have dragons eventually.
Oh yeah, yeah,
but
totally.
Not something that's going to be in first release.
Designing characters' personas, I'm in. Yeah, Raven's an artist and is totally stoked to get to do art for the game. So we're going to have our own art assets even to display on stream, which is just amazing. Thank you so much, Raven. We love this idea. We're a bunch of programmers. Art is not in our toolbox.
No, no, it isn't.
I can't even draw you a stickman without the head being odd shaped and too big.
You can draw stickmen?
No, that's my point. I just said.
Mister, I can draw stickmen.
But you can draw sticks.
Draw a line. Oh.
I haven't write my name without looking weird.
Yeah, no, don't even ask me to write. No, not a thing for me. I might want to start out as a raptor and evolve into a T-Rex. Become the thing I fear the most. Like Batman.
For Rage.
Oh,
I'll check that out in a bit.
This is his art.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll just paste that into
just look at my stream.
Do another tab here. Oh, very cool.
I remember this one. This is one of the ones I really liked. Like a face being ripped in half with the skull being left behind.
Very cool.
Excellent. Excellent. Beautiful work, Raven. Beautiful work. Totally look forward to working with you on that one. No, you are the pet. You are the pet. You are the animal. And the animals all have to work together to fight back the aliens that are coming to rape and ravage the planet. The aliens are abducting animals, stealing their DNA, creating chimera hybrid animals, and that's going to be the raid bosses and the weekly enemies and stuff that come and have to fight. Just hybrid mash of all these different monsters jammed together. As Rage wanted, sometimes it'll be alien bulldozers and stuff trying to come through the forest that you've got to push them back. Yeah, it's like sci-fi from animal perspective, fighting back aliens and making items and evolving yourself as an animal using the DNA that the aliens are stealing from animals. Yeah, they've come to probe us. Bend over, motherfucker. Bend over.
For science.
Bend over for science. All right, I'm gonna let you put a couple notes on here for a minute. You just lead. I've got to pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Okay, well, let's see here. What else can we work on a bit? We've got, I think we've got most of our UI stuff tackled, Pseudo. I would really like a way to work in a map system.
Yeah, I was thinking about that a bit, and I started thinking more about the extension stuff, because we'd be kind of limited with, like, what we could display. And the only thing I could really think about was like we'd have to generate an image and then give a link if someone wanted to like actually see an image, which wouldn't be the most ideal.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm building in, but I had an idea. And it's something that only I could really come up with and say, because I'm the one who runs the stream. I'm totally down with having a map exploration day on like a chill day or maybe once or twice a week kind of thing on those days where I can dedicate part of the screen real estate to a little map.
Mm.
And we can just have the map up to explore that way and do it with A for the row and or letters for the row and numbers for the column.
Would it be enough for everyone that's participating? I'm having trouble like visualizing like a lot of players trying to navigate the map layout.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well. That's why I made the funny face.
Yeah,
I like the
it's an
idea.
idea though. It's something you can play with in your head right now. I'm willing to give a day
So-
to some map.
So, you have a group, you have your raid group who you've been playing this game with for a while and you're pretty strong. And you want to do a dungeon together. You want to do a raid or something like that. And you want to have your progress through the dungeon, through the raid, shown on stream. You can pay small amount of bits and it'll pop up like a sprite animated tiled sort of progression through the dungeon, all the different things that you're fighting. I think that could be really cool.
Yeah, that could work. We could tie it into some other stuff too, and like have extra rewards if they complete the raid, with it being on the stream.
Yeah, and I like the idea of like, you know, you see this team of people going through the raid and you're all cheering for them. All right, King Alpha, enjoy your dinner. I think that will really help like build a community around it, get people more involved.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You heard nothing. What are you talking about?
I didn't hear nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. So then if we're doing something like that, which I really like the idea of, that's something that could eventually be backported into like our extension client.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely love the idea of it being a more readily available thing within the Twitch extension side of it. But that's a much, let's be honest, much larger development endeavor.
Oh yeah, that's like a year from now.
Yeah, I think that's like if this thing gets popular and then people want it and want more, then we can kind of set that up as a sort of like stream goal.
Yeah, we've talked about it as a success problem. Basically, is what will do that. If there's so many people playing the game that Twitch's whisper system can't keep up, and we're bogging it down, and the game is being impacted, then there's enough people playing the game to warrant the development of it into its own UI. And you know what? With this channel of people and the amazing brains that we've got together here, I bet you there should be a few people willing to jump in and help out.
Oh yeah, totally.
It won't just be like 2 or 3 people trying to write a whole game. It'll be the community game.
We've got a great little community going on here.
Yeah, I love the ideas. Love the ideas that are coming at us.
So let's see what else. What else do we have written down here? Maybe we talk about the combat system a little bit more. Maybe we finish off our discussion about the stats.
I'd like to finish off stats maybe, but
Yeah, let's
I'd
talk
also
about
like
stats.
to might take a bit of research as well. But I'm not sure if you guys heard me out when I brought up what tiers you has.
Yep, you did. We heard.
For stat systems. I kind of like that, like an intelligence, power, defense, mobility, health points, and then stealth. I think we could maybe modify that a little bit, but as a baseline, it seems to cover.
Yeah, I like most of it. I don't like the stealth stat. I think stealth is a skill tag.
I agree with Deus.
Yeah, it's definitely more for like an evolutionary standpoint when it's focused on having it as be stealth, but that's something that's easy enough just to cut.
Cut
Okay.
that one, yeah.
So, chat, what do you think? What stats do we need? We can go a little late on this. Let's do stats for a bit. I'm into this. Do you have to go anywhere, Pseudo?
Kind of not really, but if need be, I can always just pop off. I'm sure you guys can.
Yeah,
discuss
we
between the
can
two.
do it without.
Nothing's get set in stone here.
Nope. No, we're just having fun with it. It's a little too fun to let go right now. My mind is all wrapped around stats right now. Good to go on this. But come on, chat. Don't let me write the first one. Give me some stats for creatures. We're just going to start writing down the ideas. Ferocity.
That's a good one.
I love that word. That's a great word.
So then, as a counterpoint to ferocity, reflex.
Yeah, that's good.
Camouflage. You did have the U in there too, I just didn't put it in. I'm a Canadian and I missed a U. What the hell? Get your game together, Deus.
Agility, that's another good one.
Oh, agility, eh? Yep, reflex does equal agility, but I'm writing down all the words and we're using them, eh?
And we'll figure out which ones suit our stats the most.
Yeah, we're not necessarily incorporating them all, but we're writing them all down so that we've got this pool and we can figure out from there what we want to really define. We'll figure it out and create a data set that properly structures what we're trying to model.
So I'm now about like our intelligence stat that will affect your ability to function within a herd, be able to make things.
I like
Instinct is a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
I like instinct. I'm just not sure if that captures, like, that definitely captures, like, your ability to forage for things and find food. I'm just not sure if that would capture tools, for instance.
No, he said instead of intelligence, like as an opposite. I think he meant opposite.
I think you meant as a replacement for intelligence, but
No, intelligence is the opposite of instinct. Instinct is what you innately know. Intelligence is your ability to learn new.
yeah. Stamina is very good.
The stamina is why the humans triumphed. That's how we
Yep.
won.
And
It is
The number
scary
the
about
biggest
how we-
the biggest number one evolution that we had that allowed us to hunt all the other animals was the ability to sweat. That's what won it for us. We're the only animal that sweats, so we're the only thing that can cool off that fast. So what we used to do to hunt things with our sticks was to get it running from us, and then when one person gets tired, another person takes over, and we just trade off and just keep it running, and they'll just run themselves to death because they can't cool off in the heat.
If you've ever seen the movie It Follows, it's basically how we hunted for the longest time.
Yep.
They would get way far ahead, and then using intelligence to track and stamina to keep going, we would just run after things for days until it eventually just gave up, and then we would just take it back, which is terrifying.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's why we find it so terrifying. We are the stamina hunter. If there's something that can out stamina hunt us, that's scary.
Yep, stamina constitution. Similar, same thing, different terms. Why cheetahs are great runners, but not great distance. Yep, exactly. If it's in a sprint, you're probably going to lose, but if it's over a field, you're probably going to win.
What else? I think that captures most of what I would want to see in stats.
What getting bonuses or negatives for which environment you are in, like cold and heat, hot, that would be more in the perk flaw world of things. And
Oh, there's an idea. be able to have different environments that will give bonuses to different creatures. I like that.
Yeah, something we can definitely look at.
I'm just gonna write that down under somewhere.
Put it under ideas.
Yeah, I think there's a
Best
random
place for it.
ideas.
Yeah,
header.
there's a random ideas spot there for it.
Ecosystems.
Natural habitat bonuses. Yeah, I'm a shark, negative 10 hit points in the desert.
A sand shark would be terrifying, though.
Yep. I would see it as... I see these being incorporated at the same time as like the dungeon system is incorporated. And then the dungeon could be in a location. And while in that dungeon, different animals would have different benefits and effects.
And I think not to the point of not being able to participate in a dungeon, but a definite like detriment if you're a shark in a desert, or a definite detriment if you're a bird underwater.
So I just had a thought, and I kind of have to bang this out with you right now. Because if you do have a long-term plan for a dungeon type idea, are you planning on having group combat?
Yes.
So do we have the Trinity?
I don't think there will be that much interaction in the combat system to warrant it.
Okay. So it's going to be more like because there are ways to do it. Because as much as I hated 12, the Gambit system is pretty applicable to something like this, where you have a pre-programmed yourself set of what you're going to do based on trigger conditions. And then instead of having an AI control it, it just runs through their own simply created AI based on trigger do this, trigger do that.
I like that idea as a 2 years down the road.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. But if that is the case, we should take at least some consideration now into what is healing. And how is that fit in?
The way I had been thinking of it so far is more like a simple JRPG where you have like attack and item, and you can use items to heal while in combat. Otherwise, you get set to full health when you return from the excursion.
Okay, I'm down. All item-based healing.
The consumables was something we put into
Then the healer,
as well.
the healer at that point would be like the octopus and the ape and the intelligent ones that are better with the items.
They may not need to even be a healer specific thing. It
No,
could just
they're
be
not, but they're the
food.
one that you want to have one of them in your party, ideally, to manage items and using items. They'd probably give more benefit when they use them, be able to use them faster, be able to use more of them in a turn.
Okay,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
So many arms.
Yeah, like
Well,
one of
so
the
many things.
octopus racials could be the ability to use an extra 2 items.
Yeah. I like that.
Things like that, and then you'd want that to be around. It would still serve its purpose, but when it comes down to crunch time and healing needs to be done, it's the one that sacrifices its damage for the healing, therefore its damage isn't as high, explained by the other benefits that it's getting. Okay, and it all fits into everything. Okay, cool. I'm happy now. I just needed to make sure that we're not going to shoot ourselves in the foot later on down the road on an idea like that.
I like the idea of building in some sort of scripting for combat, but I think that's very much like we're doing a combat overhaul. Everything else is already in place. Everything else is already rock solid.
Absolutely 100% with you.
Then we can iterate at that point.
Absolutely with you. It's not an early thing, but I don't want to have to go back and redesign everything. So if we have this potential in the future, we want to structure our design to account for this potential.
Yeah.
Basically is what I was saying. We would be doing them a disservice to not make sure they do that. Okay, I think that sums it all up. So, is ferocity strength? Ferocity, aggression, strength, are they all the same thing? And are we going to organize physical stat and mental stat? Or just all physical stat? I don't think there's as much a mental stat aspect here. There's basically one. We would just basically separate one out for no real reason other than to add unnecessary complexity. And
I think it's just
stats.
Chat, what is rule number 1 about game design? Does anyone know rule number 1? I'm going to say this rule a lot, and pretty soon when I ask you what rule number 1 is, you're all going to instantly say it. Sure, Rage knows exactly what I'm going to say. He knows the number 1 rule. It's why chess is the most amazing game ever. Rule number 1 is, a game should be simple to play, but difficult to master. Rule number 1, don't touch my Percocet? No, that's not rule number 1. Give me Percocet. Yep. Yeah, nope. Simple to play, difficult to master. Chess. Always think of chess. If you're ever designing a game, no matter what it is, think of chess. You can learn to play it in 15 minutes. There's like 7 moves to learn. And then 2 somewhat advanced concepts that are not difficult to pick up once you learn the basic moves. And then you will spend the next 80 years of your life trying to master that game, and a computer will still beat you.
Also, make sure all your shots are headshots.
Yeah.
That's rule number 2.
Not quite as applicable in chess.
You can headshot the king, right?
Bam!
Super checkmate.
You should do that. Just get really good at shooting elastics, and next time you play chess with someone, just like shoot their king with an elastic and knock them over and be like, headshot! And just walk away.
Action chess.
Actually, I want to do this now. I should learn.
We should
this.
make real-time action chess. That should be a game that we make.
There's a lot of bars
Chess
with
Doom
board games
edition.
around. We could just get good at shooting the elastics and go to a bar and sit there with a chess game and just wait for someone to sit down and play it. And as soon as they sit down, just be like, poof, and shoot their king and just like, checkmate. Okay. Gears of War where they scream headshot every time there's a headshot. Yep. Finding the model. Okay, so strength, is that the same thing as ferocity and aggression?
Yes, I like ferocity as a term the best.
Okay. Reflex, agility, so we can... Stamina, constitution, instinct, question, intelligence, question.
I'm thinking I might like instinct over intelligence, just for the sake of when you like, the things will just know how to craft things instinctually, and to upgrade that, they just, it's another version or an evolution where they just know how to do that thing rather than just being able to
They
kind
don't
of
just
figure it
know
out.
how to do it. You have to learn how to craft.
No, I'm saying like some things just know how to do it. Because if they
Like-
can just learn how to craft, then anything. Like, are we going to be restricting certain species to not being able to craft certain things due to intelligence? Because if it's intelligence, then anything should be able to be taught to any other kind of species. But if it's instinctual, they just gotta know how to.
Well, anything could be taught in theory, but you do have to have a certain level of intelligence to be able to be taught them. Like,
So I'm
sure, you could be taught how to build a computer, and it could be like anybody in the chat could be taught how to build a computer game engine, but due to varying levels of knowledge in that, or simplified down to very simple terms for game intelligence, because we're just looking at crafting as an entirety of it, they would have to raise that level up to a point where they're able to understand all the concepts they're going to have to go into creating that engine, therefore raising their intelligence to be able to craft it long before they can actually think of crafting it.
Because what I'm saying then is, if let's say there's a primate class and they just start, they do have to be taught everything they know, or do they know how to craft things right out of the gate?
You would have to have a minimum intelligence stat, and then you would learn the skills to craft particular things.
Ooh, oh, you know what? How about crafting isn't tied to class at all? Anything can craft as long as they have the intelligence to craft it. You can work on your intelligence, right? It's only meeting checkpoints in order to be things. So you could be an overly intelligent shark and be quite good at crafting. You wouldn't have all the bonuses to crafting of an ape class. That could be their racial bonuses, or using the items like the octopus's racial bonuses. But then being an ape, say, or these other crafting classes that gain a bonus to it, having that craft knowledge could be a requirement of being it. To incorporate crafting even tighter into the game.
Yeah, my main distinction is just, as long as if it's intelligence, then the crafting will have to be something that's then kind of learned, rather than if we just kind of give it to certain classes. But then I think that makes more sense if anyone can learn anything, and it's just easier if people start speccing into intelligence.
Yeah, it's one of those gameplay over game logic decisions.
So I like the idea of anybody being able to learn anything gated by intelligence stat. However, I think for evolutions, you should have to have certain skills. Like you need to be dexterous. Like that can be a skill, or that lets you manipulate tools better. You get a slight bonus to using items. And that would allow you to go into one of the more item-focused classes.
Let's take a quick look at tags then, and what we're working with in the tags.
So as a category of tags, I would say like item usage.
Well, let's specify the few that we know we're going to need. Flying, right? We need swimming. Or
yeah, we need flying, we need swimming, we need
water breathing.
Water breathing, burrowing. I like the idea of dexterous because that captures a lot of stuff like the apes, that captures some other animals like octopi, other
poisonous. Thank
There's
you.
a great one. Poisonous, venomous. Ooh, making that distinction. That's cool. Poisonous, when you take damage, you deal retaliation damage. Whereas venomous is additional damage on an attack.
Yeah, I'm down. We can be super pedantic, because I fucking love pedantic. It just makes me feel good inside. You are technically correct, sir. The best kind of correct.
All right, guys, I'm gonna have to take off.
Cool.
I'll probably join in the chat for a bit, but I'll see you guys. It was a good stream.
Yeah.
See you everyone in chat. You guys have a good night.
See you tomorrow for the hockey game.
Thanks for joining us.
Will do. It sounds good. See ya.
So I really like the idea of dexterity. Yes, cold resist. So that would be like harsh climate skills, desert dwelling, mountain dwelling.
We said we were going to do climate probably later, so I'll add climate tags. And we'll have a whole category
as
of them added.
What else?
Poisonous could even be a on death thing. You're killed in combat.
Camouflage.
Yeah. Stealth. Camouflage. Oh, how about thorns? I mean, we can call it anything, but we all know what thorns means because there's porcupines.
Yeah.
Stuff
Be
like
all
that.
spiky and shit.
Yeah.
Hard shelled.
Armored.
Armored.
That applies to a lot of things that way. Even insects would be considered armored.
Yep.
So, slime, how about invertebrate? Is that kind of what you're thinking, Gord?
What do you mean by slime? Like a slug that's covered in slime, or like? Yeah, so slimy and slippery.
Oh, yeah, okay. Slimy, like a hagfish. If anyone knows what a hagfish is. Octopus aren't slimy.
Octopus are dope. I love octopus.
I do too. Most of them are, or not most of them, but some of them are very venomous.
Indeed. Very, very venomous.
But yeah, no.
I had something and now it's gone.
Oh, what about are spiders the only thing that spin web? I don't think so.
Silkworms.
So what about something along those lines?
I don't know how useful it would be, and it would really pigeonhole you into a couple of
Yeah.
animals.
Well, no, because you don't have to become that animal. Hive mind.
Yeah, you don't have to, but like
Hive mind talking like insect colonies and stuff like that.
maybe swarming rather than hive mind.
How about once these tags are gained and applied, they're dormant until you become that animal. Is that how we're doing it? You have them, allows you to become that animal, but
I'm thinking more they're active and you could use those abilities. But in order to become a new animal, you have to have its prerequisite tags.
Okay. So everybody's going to be their own weird, manipulated chimera animal, and the classification of what animal you are is going to change and evolve as you go. And I like this. Claws. Horns, fins.
Swimming, I think, is
Second one.
the same function as fins and a bit broader, so a little bit more useful.
I agree.
Claws, definitely.
And I like horns as well.
Is that captured under thorns?
Could be. And claws is like an added damage. Horns could also be under armored, depending on the purpose of the horns.
I think horns are different enough that we should keep them separate. If we're going to have claws separate, we should have horns separate.
Night vision, I like that.
That necessitates building in a day-night system.
Not necessarily.
How so?
I can think of a creative benefit from it, and you'll be like, oh, hey, yeah, that's a good one. Or I don't end up coming up with one and we don't end up using it.
Fair enough.
I've surprised you before.
Night vision is an interesting idea. It just relies on us adding another layer of complication to the game.
Hearing, if that has not been said. I mean, every animal has hearing, though.
But to different degrees.
Different degrees. So it would be more of a stat. Bats have super hearing. Bats have amazing super hearing. It's their vision that's weaker. What, they can't hear our audio range? I'm pretty sure they can. They just also have their super audio range as well. Supersonic. They emit super high-pitched chirps that we can't even hear that bounce off of objects. Tell them where everything are. How they fly in pitch black. They're all audio. They're sonar.
I'm curious, Riftkick. What are you thinking for Bloodlust?
Bats in Africa are listening to this stream.
Needs blood like in the sense of a vampire bat? Or like in the sense of some sort of predator that just needs to feed on other animals? Interesting.
There are leeches, lampreys. There is a fair amount of passive sucker. I like the idea. I don't think it fits into 1.0.
Yeah.
But I could totally see a ticks and leeches expansion, you know?
Where you attach to the enemy and just continually drain health rather than having the chance to miss on your attack sort of thing. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, parasites
parasite.
and ticks and leeches, and that's exactly what I'm talking about for an expansion. A whole expansion of parasites. I love it, but I think it's too broad scope for the initial. Even a lot of the ones that are down are probably going to get excluded, but are still simpler. But yeah, I love me some dots. And they could have some interesting curative properties as well. Like the leeches could remove negative status effects as a racial and stuff like that.
Bleed them. Herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores are sort of what we were thinking with the class definitions, like the family definitions, where you don't necessarily have to be a herbivore to be a herd animal, a gathering animal, but you're more likely to be a herbivore in that class, and you're more likely to be a carnivore if you are a predator.
Well, you're guaranteed to be a carnivore if you're a predator.
Right, but say, we work in, say, hippos.
Yeah.
They're not, like, they're somewhat herding, but they'll often be on their own as well. And they're definitely super deadly.
Well, they're a good tank, and you don't want to mess with one, but if you leave it alone, it's just going to eat its grass and graze and do its own thing and be by itself. It's not going to be like, oh, damn, I'm hungry. I got to go find and kill something. It'll be like, oh, I'm hungry. Grass.
I'm just saying the distinction of what the animal eats, I don't think is super necessary within this game.
I agree with you on that point. Berserk mode.
You know what, Riftkick? We'll get you to record the Mutalisk noises. You can spit glaives.
Nice. I do like the sonar, though. See, the big thing to me is the tag should include a large enough group of animals to make the tag worth listing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sonar, I'm not sure about, but I can see it being worked into a lot of the aquatic animals like whales, dolphins, etc.
Yeah, mostly aquatic animals is where it'll be needed, but it also works with bats as an interesting little twist on the land bat requirement.
I think we've got a pretty good list.
Yeah, we can do a lot with what we've built here. And now I want to play some Wolcen.
Yeah.
So thank you very, very much for joining Games by Design this Saturday afternoon, evening, I don't know, Sunday, depending on where you are in the world. Hope you had a good time. Hope you're enjoying the game design. Let's see how broken it is. Let's do this one more time next week and then pound out some more ideas. And hope we'll see then if maybe we're at a point where we can start laying a little bit of stuff down and we can go back and maybe review some games and maybe talk about some more game design ideas or something. Yeah, thank you very much for your input, Rift Kick. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. We love your ideas. We always come out with something better when you're around. Same with Board, Raven. I don't see any other names in chat recently, but I saw a lot of people talking throughout. We love all your ideas. Keep them coming, keep them coming, keep them coming. And we're just going to keep building this game together, and we'll build something real cool for all of us to play with and against each other eventually. And Raven's art ideas. I'm so stoked that we have an artist that's just like, yay, you guys are going to use my art. No, man, it's a little like, oh my god, someone's giving us art. Yeah.
Yeah, the art is the hard part for us. Believe it.
Yeah, that's the biggest part. Yeah, thank you very, very much for joining. This is Games by Design. I am Deus.
I am Rage.
Pseudo has already left, unfortunately. But have yourself...
Pseudo.
That was Pseudo. Have yourself a very, very wonderful day if you're taking off. If not, stick around for 15, 20, dabba dabba do. And we'll be back checking out brand new Wolcen and going through the design and seeing how it all stacks up. We're big Diablo 2 fans. Rage played a lot of Diablo 3. I'm a big PoE fan, so we're going to get to the bottom of how good this game really is. Until then, may all your shots be headshots.